My name is Jacob Counts. I grew up originally in Richmond, Virginia, and moved to Lynchburg, Virginia when aunt and uncle took me in. And my parents growing up, they tried their best, but they were drug addicts. And they just had a hard time with life. When I was 5 years old, my father took his life. After that, my mom tried to raise me. She did the best she could, but eventually she overdosed. And at that point in time, that's when I moved in with an aunt and uncle. Grew up here after that, went to Virginia Tech, got a career afterwards, pursued a few different things, moved to a few different areas, and then ended up in Southwest Virginia opening up a healthcare agency. It was in that area that I met my now wife, decided that I wanted to get out of the career field I was in and start doing a form of foster care for adults, intellectually disabled adults. Moved to Christiansburg. We got engaged right before that happened, and we had planned on putting our roots in Christiansburg. Well, the uncle that had raised me, he was diagnosed with cancer, and we weren't really finding our niche in the Christiansburg area. So we decided, after looking at a few different areas, before we found out about my uncle, we decided to move to Lynchburg, and we were gonna start a family here and just start that season of life. And we found a house, put in an offer, and then 7 days before we closed on the house, my uncle actually passed away. So that threw things up a little bit, but we went ahead, we moved here. I was able to continue fostering here. My wife got a job at Liberty. We got pregnant within a month about of being here in Lynchburg. Just kind of continued life as normal. And I had some concerns with drinking and drug use. That became how I numbed myself. And it was a way to help get in with people and just get the pain away so I can engage well with people. That was a large part of my life. Kind of just looked at life as what can I do to just relax, and what can I do to just get by? What can I accomplish? How can I be significant? And it was when my daughter was born. It just didn't expect it, but everything that I was at that point in time just shattered. And I realized how I couldn't give this girl what she needed, and I kind of realized my weaknesses, and I started realizing that, there's something larger than me. My family growing up was not very religious. The only time that you really heard anything about God or Jesus or even praying was at funerals. So for me, it was just the Bible was a book of fairy tales. I didn't think it was real. I just thought that it was just fables, and I needed to figure this out. So I started researching a lot of different faiths, religions, and things of that nature. A friend of ours, another married couple who also had a young child, invited us to Blue Ridge, and I'd been reading about Christianity, so I was very interested in coming. Jeremy was doing a message, and just really, I came 2 times, and I heard him speak a few times, and I just really appreciated when he would tell his story, and it just kind of resonated with me. So I sent Jeremy an email, and I asked him if he would mind meeting with me, because I knew I couldn't do it on my own. I knew that trying to figure it out on my own without a mentor was only going to get me so far. We started meeting. I started putting a few things together, and then it was actually crazy enough, I was watching the Bible series on Netflix, and I was sitting there, and it was going over some parts of the gospel, and I'm just sitting there, and it just all of a sudden hit me. Like I just felt like I got hit in the chest. I just realized that I'm trying to figure out this whole faith thing as if it's completely separate from me, as if there's this relationship with this entity that I don't have any relationship with at all. And at that point in time, I just realized, I need to figure this out as in relationship with Jesus. He lives within me. It was just like the Holy Spirit just came on real fast. And I was like, okay, I'm going to give my life to Christ. I was like, I'm praying to Jesus, and it feels so different than praying to anything else, to any other faith. I could feel a presence, and I knew it was something I could engage with. So I gave my life to Christ, and was baptized here at Blue Ridge. Jeremy baptized me, and my wife was there, had a lot of family there. And since then, the whole way I looked at the world changed. I started, instead of looking at the world of what can I get out of it? You know, what can the world do for me? How can I accomplish things? How can I make myself significant? As I learned about Jesus and the way he lived his life, and I knew that he was Lord, he was God himself, I started wanting to live like he did. And I started looking at my family differently. I literally submitted myself to those around me. I wanted to serve people around me. I wanted to pursue ways to serve people within the church, out of the church. The ways of life where I would look to comfort myself just by drinking or going out and partying and things like that, I didn't have any desire to do that anymore, because I knew that made me less capable to serve Christ, to serve those around me. So at that point in time, it was serving. It was serving, it was diving into the Word, it was having conversations with other believers. But on top of that, it was also just being honest about my faith and my journey, understanding that I had a testimony and not hiding it, being willing to tell people when they would say to me, Jacob, there seems to be a change within you. You know, what happened? Telling them, hey, this is what's happened in my life. Not trying to be shy about it. It was about living my life, continuing to live my life in a way that would make people curious, and realizing that it wasn't about me doing the right thing. It was just about me pointing people to Christ, and he'd take over. So it took all the weight off my shoulders of life. Eventually, it's led to the next journey in life. We have another child now. We've had another child. That's been a huge thing. It's the new daughter. My first daughter helped bring me to Christ. My second daughter has helped me submit more to him, because I just realizing more and more how much we don't have control and how much of a waste of time it is to try to get control. You know, just live in the freedom of knowing that God has this. Jesus has this. It's better in his hands than it is in mine.